What's up, YouTube family? It's the host of Seeking Knowledge Podcast. It's Demarcus Brewster. And today I have a special guest in by the name of Miss Anita Santiago. Man, she have a story that she want to share with y'all. Y'all seen the title. So y'all need to tap in, man. You know what? I'm just going to be quiet. I'm just going to let Miss Santiago introduce herself and just share her story. I'm going to let y'all, this her world today.
Well, thank you so much, DeMarcus. Hi, everybody. My name is Anita Santiago. I am the host of the Convos with Anita Santiago podcast. I'm happy to be out here with you to talk about life. It's never too late. And I think I have a story that, hopefully resonates with people. I spend a lot of time online. And I'll often see posts where people say, well, I'm 32 and I don't know if I should go back to school, or I'm 45 and I don't know about starting this new hobby. And, age ain't nothing but a number. Ain't nothing but a number. And I heard a saying, I don't know who said it, but they said, when you get to the age of 50, either you're going to have the best second half of your life or the worst second half of your life. And what it really comes down to is choices and intentionality. And I had to learn that the hard way. School of hard knocks.
Y'all did. Look, I'll be 37 this year, so I'm pushing 40 in a few of them. And I just had thoughts like before I start the podcast. I was like, how them thoughts come. I was like, I shouldn't start the podcast. I'm too old. This and that. They flanked on me. They backed up. So I'm just gonna go.
Right.
Because the more I stay consistent, that's one of the C's too. Choices and consistency, one of the C's too. It'll get into the right eyes and the right people.
And you know what? All of my life-changing decisions came after the age of 47. So at the age of 48, I was sitting at my desk at work and I decided I hated my job. Like, I absolutely hate my job. And I was like, I need a career change. And I was feeling some type of way because I'm like, I don't want to be the oldest person in the classroom, but I really hate this job, right? So I went on and decided that I was going to go into mental health because I was like, look, if I'm going to keep working, I got to make a difference somehow. So that's what worked for me. 4 long years in a clinical mental health counseling master's program. So I didn't start that program until I turned 48. And so it was a lot just to get motivated to go back to school for the umpteenth time. As you get older, you don't have the same energy and the same, a brain power for real, because it was kind of hard for me. But I went on and wrapped it up, and I knew probably at the end of the 4 years, I was going to go on to a doctorate degree. So I did the career change at 48. And then I became a member. I had a dream. I always wanted to be in a sorority. So at the tender age of 51, I became a member of Zeta Phi Beta Incorporated. And I cannot even tell you that experience of sisterhood. And, for me, that was something that was a lifelong dream, but it didn't happen until I turned 51. At 52, I ran my first marathon. So I didn't start running until I was 49. So at 52, I ran my first and last marathon. But I've been running for 6 years, and I didn't start until, I realized I was getting older and I wasn't healthy. And I'm like, look, I got to be intentional, do something about it. And I had always wanted to try running, but I'm a little on the heavy side, so I was always discouraged. But when I got out there, guess what? It was a lot of people that looked like me. We just out there getting it. So ran my first marathon at 52, started my doctorate program at 53, will be 57 when I graduate, right? But I gotta tell you, like, this part of my life, this half of my life is just filled with good. Like, it's just one good thing after another. And I think it's not because I'm necessarily a good person. I mean, I'm all right, but I'm just average. But I think it's the intentionality, intentionally pursuing your goals,
Come on now.
intentionally setting out to do something. And speaking of podcasts, I just started my podcast in December at 56. So there is no such thing as it's too late, I'm over the hill, none of that.
See, your story inspired me because I know I'm coming to that peak. So that's why I'm setting up plays. So I got kids out there. If I don't, so all the plays I'm setting up is for my kids, my team that's gonna rock with me. Because I think long term. That's why I say I don't care if I'm 40 in a few years. I'm still gonna get out here. And like you said on the health tip, see, I'm a vegetarian.
Okay.
I don't eat in like 6 months, but I still snack every now and then. But as far as me cutting out all the meat, like I no fish, no shrimp, no meat, I have energy. So health is wealth. I feel you. Like never feel, like if you got dreams, chase them. Don't let nobody discourage you. Don't let nobody say you too old, you can't do it. Come on now, you heard Miss Santiago, all the things she accomplished. She said, this the second half. This the best half right here.
This is the best half right here. But you know what? I gotta say something that, socially, especially for those of us that are African American, we are socialized sometimes that depending on what age bracket you in, you got the boomers, you got the Gen X, you got the millennials, you got the Gen Z. So depending on what category you fall into, that's how we're socialized. And for people in Gen X, we were socialized by our parents who were boomers, work 30 years, retire, and be bored. But I tell you right now, I'm telling you, 50 the new 20. It is. But in order for you to get there, you have to do a couple of things, right? You have to have a vision for your life. Like if you don't have a vision for your life,
say that again.
You gotta have a vision. Like, where are you going? Where are you going? What are you doing? And it may not be specific. You may not know what job you want to do. You may not know what state you want to live in, but you say, you know what? This is my saying. I want to live a soft life. I want to live a soft life. I've had hard. I want to live soft. I want things to be nice and soft, and that doesn't mean it's going to be easy, but once you set a vision, you can make your decisions accordingly. Now, I never was a vision board person. I never did vision boards or any of that. And I was in a cohort of ladies and we had a challenge to do a vision board, right? And I didn't think it was gonna make that much of a difference. Okay, vision board. Okay, yeah, this. I put some stuff on there that is just like ridiculous. I'm like, yeah. But you know what? I found that all of a sudden I'm deciding to do things that I would have never decided to do because that vision board is constantly reinforcing my vision for my life. And so I just feel like one of the frustrating pieces of people's lives, you have to have a vision. If you don't like how you living, you don't have enough money, your credit bad, whatever it is, then you got to create a vision. Okay, I want a better financial situation. And once you create that, you're going to take the steps to make sure that it happens. So that's the first thing. You got to have a vision for your life. The second part, you got to be intentional. Every decision has to be intentional. Does this get me toward my goal? Or am I just wasting time? Am I just wasting time? If somebody called me on the phone, is this get me towards my goal or is this got me off track? I mean, because in a day, 15 text messages and 2 friend drama, and you haven't got none accomplished that you're trying to do. So intentionality is important. So you gotta have a vision and you gotta be intentional.
Thank y'all for viewing in. The two, thank y'all. But go ahead, Mr. Anita. You said you got the flow. This your world.
Okay, because I don't want to come on your podcast like this, take over. But yeah, I mean, there's a rhythm to life. Like there's a rhythm, and when we don't feel like life is fair or it's treating us fair, because look, when I was 20, I didn't know a lot of stuff. I wasn't intentional about nothing. I didn't have no vision for my life. I thought I knew what I wanted to do, but I really did not. And when things got hard, I felt like, well, why is it always happening to me? Why does this happen to me? Like, I don't understand. But like, I'm going to use Generation X as an example. We wasn't taught money management. Now, we was taught to be responsible. So you got that key around your neck, and you probably had it till you moved out the house because your parents said if you ever lost that key, so you learned how to be responsible. Yeah. But we didn't necessarily learn the tools like how to position myself at a young age. So when I move out the house, I have credit, I have savings, and those types of things. We didn't learn those kind of things. A lot of us didn't. I'm not gonna say everybody, but a lot of us didn't. So now that I'm in this part, whatever I didn't learn, I have to be intentional about going back and picking that knowledge up. That's on me. That's not on the people who didn't do. They did the best they could when they were raising us. But if I need a piece of my life to be better, I want better relationships. I hear that all the time. Being in mental health, relationships are something that always comes into play. But you have to be intentional. What kind of people are you surrounding yourself with? Are they on the same mission as you? Are they hungry like you? Are they hungry like you? Or they just like want to talk about people? I'm not judging nobody. I'm just saying, if you got to surround yourself with the right people.
Exactly. Like everything you saying is true.
And I know, like sometimes things get cliche, well, that's just what you're saying. Look, I have taken myself to being in a position where I wasn't really sure about what I should be doing with my life. I wasn't really sure about my assignment, my calling. And it took a whole lot of thinking and reflecting to say, okay, where am I supposed to be? And then once I align my life with my assignment,
come on now,
doors open. Look, when you are walking in purpose, things, just the energy around you makes people do stuff. It causes them to notice you when you walk by, and people smile and they say, hi, how are you? And they want to know, like, that energy, there's something about you that's different. That's because you got purpose. You moving with purpose, you thinking about purpose. You like, okay, what I need to do today to better achieve my goals. And that energy radiates from you. It radiates from you. And then guess what? Blessings follow behind that, because people be like, oh, okay, I see you on that mission. How can I help you? I don't really understand what you're doing. I wish I had $1 for everybody in my family. Say, I don't know what a podcast is, but how can I help? So again, when you're constructing a vision for your life, that you're going to build something. I want to build the life I want. I read a meme that says that how does it go? Things don't just happen for you. You have to build them, or something to that effect. The bottom line is, like, if you want that relationship, it's not going to fall out the sky. You have to build it.
Get out there and do the work.
Right. You want a car, you want to live in a neighborhood, then you have to build your finances so you have the flexibility to do what you want to do.
So I've been working on my credit. I'm telling you, I feel you. Everything you saying, it makes sense. Like, you dropping gems. People, y'all heard this? She dropping gems, man. Y'all need to catch them before y'all can't catch them. But go ahead.
When you hit that head in the wall enough times, you're supposed to learn something, right? But if you want to see your kids go to the best school, okay, how are you going to build your finances so you can do that? How are you going to build the resources? How are you going to build the capacity so that when that blessing comes, it's not a burden? But just saying you want something and sitting, nothing's going to happen. Nothing's going to happen.
Ain't nothing coming.
Nope. And for those of us that are a little bit more seasoned, We don't have no excuse. Well, I'm tired when I get off of work. At the gym I go to, we say you get the body you work for. If you want to be healthy, like you said, like I said, working out doesn't mean perfection. Working out doesn't mean you're gonna be particularly a certain size. It means being healthy. But you only get the health you work for. You only get the things that you work for and you're intentional about. And I think that's where people miss the boat sometimes. You can have somebody telling you what to do all day long, but if you don't desire to get your credit fixed, you don't desire to fix your finances, you don't desire to live differently, then all the talking in the world is not going to help you move forward.
Come on now, look, that's that saying. Look, I heard this saying a lot from everybody, and I just want to get this clear right here while we on live on YouTube. I heard a lot of people say knowledge is power. Knowledge is power. If you apply it, applied knowledge is more powerful. So I'm gonna leave it at that. Y'all catch that before you catch it.
Yeah, that's powerful right there, because we know a lot of stuff. All you need to do is, and if you're a parent, I think we experience this because we feel like we lived through some things, so then we can turn around and tell our kids, well, if you just do it this way or that way, it'll work out.
Right.
Yeah, but you're not taking everything into consideration. You're not taking into consideration the changes. When I was young, we wrote checks. There are young people that's never seen a check, don't know what a check is, or a record player, or a 12-inch extended version cut of a record. Those things were around when we were younger, but it's not around now. So even if you have knowledge, you have to understand what's changed, what's new, consider how that affects what you know, then drop some knowledge so people can apply it. So, that's something we need to be responsible about. We can't just take, a 12-second sound bite that we hear on the internet and run with it. And I'll give you an example. So I was online the other day, and this lady named, I think it's B. Arthur from the Golden Girls, she was in a play called Hair. And she sang a song about Black men. They're chocolate, they're this, they're that. So whoever posted the clip only posted like this 25-second clip of her singing that song. And people were like, I can't believe it. I can't believe she's saying that. What is it all about? And I was like, it's from a play. But that's what to go back to your point, we have a responsibility to understand, what facts we working with and to verify them before we start, throwing them around and saying, well, this is an absolute fact. And I think a lot of times we just don't do that just because of the rush of life.
Right.
Yep.
Like a lot of people do have them little hasty spirits, though. Sometimes you got to slow down in life. Like, you got to, because sometimes you don't slow down in life, you just miss that small piece of that puzzle.
Right. Right. And, at the end of the day, when in doubt, write it down. Write your goals down. I want to do better in this area. I want to put it on a Post-it note, stick it on your wall, stick it on the bathroom so you can see it every day. Write it down, put it in your phone, create a calendar event that reminds you every day of your goal. And you constantly seeing it, you're more likely to work towards it. But sometimes we just talk and we don't think about execution. Like you might have the vision, but you're not really good on the execution. Okay, that applied knowledge. So what can help you? What tools are out there? We have all this automation, all this software and apps and different things like that. There's something that could be helpful. If you're on the technical side, I still use pen and paper myself, but that just tell you how old I am. But
what's wrong with pen and pad? That's the risk. Look, I tell people, look, since we on this topic, I tell you I'll be 40 in a few, but I tell them I'm an old young boy. I gotta telling you, I'm not all the way hip on the tech side, but some stuff you just won't fly by me. Like, you ain't gonna get over. But and I just want to ask you this, like, because as you can say, it's never too old to dream big.
Right.
Yeah. that right. What's next for Miss Santiago? Like, you accomplished a lot. Like, I just want to know let the world know what's next, because I know you ain't stopping no time soon.
No, I'm not stopping no time soon. And there's a meme with Muhammad Ali on there that says, "If your dreams don't scare you, they're not big enough."
They not big enough. I say that.
Yeah. And I think right now, my big move is my podcast. I'm a conversationalist at heart. I believe conversations can change things.
Listen
Back
to
in the day, let me tell you a little story. Back in the day when we used to have debate club at high school, we would do a presentation, and you would be passionate, and you would give your best foot forward on why people should listen to your point. And even if the other person didn't agree with you on the other side, you both walked away with an understanding and a conversation and a respect for each other. And in a lot of ways, we've lost that. So my big push right now is my podcast. Like, I'm really enjoying bringing topics up. So on my podcast, just like you, I talk about a lot of life topics, but I also weave mental health in there, because mental health touches every aspect of our lives. And so I try to come at topics just like you, from a little different angle. You've heard the A, B, and C, but did you know about W? Let's talk about that piece of it. So that's the big push for me right now. I really, I got that hunger. And so, I want to push my way into those upper echelons of podcasts. So, yeah, I am making it happen. And it's one intentional decision at a time. So when y'all see me, all over the internet, you be like, "Oh, I remember when she was on YouTube Live." Yeah, that's gonna be me.
Right. I say the same thing. I was like, when they see me on TV, I'm like, hey, I remember when he started telling it's coming. Yeah, you touched on a lot of amazing. You touched on a lot of stuff, like a lot.
Let me tell you, in my clinical psychology work, my focus is severe mental illness. So that would be the illnesses that usually people end up in the hospital with: bipolar, schizophrenia, and some of the other illnesses that go along in those categories.
Can I say something?
Yeah.
Before I moved to Texas, I used to work at Easter Seals Midwest.
What?
That's my background, home health care.
Okay, so you know exactly what I mean. And in that work,
I just say yes, man. You can go ahead.
Oh, yeah. In that work that I do, for us, especially in the African American community, people experience misdiagnosis, misunderstanding, and miseducation. And one of the things I really want to be instrumental in is changing how we see our loved ones who suffer from severe mental illness, and do the type of education and community outreach that helps people understand how do I navigate this? If it's my spouse or my child or someone that I'm really close to, what do I do when I'm tapped out because this has been a 10, 15, 20 year experience? So the other piece of what I really want to do with my life is change the whole narrative around what it means to be mentally ill. If we change that narrative to mental wellness instead of mental illness, takes on a whole different connotation. And yes, we can help you on a journey as you strive to be more well than you were. We don't fix people, but you can have more stability, more quality of life. But we have to change that narrative, and that's a heavy lift right there. But I'm up for it.
The road, I mean, life always look. You got to go through them tough obstacles. You got to go through them roadblocks. That would make you strong.
Right.
Yeah. When people say you up to age, I was like, I'm in my prime. I feel the same way how you feel. This the best years, like for real. Like I got all that toxicity from around me, that toxic, them why do people say toxic is a new normal? But that's a whole different discussion. But I got rid of all that toxic and this tunnel vision. I'm focused because I know what time it is. Like the Ford up. I ain't no spring chicken and we ain't Benjamin Button. Like we ain't come on. That's the older you gonna get younger. Is you gotta turn it around. The older, come on now.
And I think too that especially for women, but I know men go through it too on a different level. But the whole part of getting older, you know, your hair ain't as thick as it was. You know, you may lose it. You may not feel as attractive or desirable or whatever, you know, and there are things that you think about when you was 20 years old and you was at the skating rink all night and partied all night and then went to work the next day and you didn't have no problems, and now everything is aching and hurting. But you know, again, we have to think about what kind of life do we want to have, whether you struggling with chronic physical things or whatever you have going on. You can have a better quality of life if that's what you decide to do, and then take the intentional steps to do it. Doesn't mean, like, for example, if you are struggling with a chronic illness, just because you're intentional and purposeful doesn't mean you fix it, but it does mean that your quality of life can be much better. It means that you can do things you never thought about doing before. It means you can teach others through your experience. And you can say, hey, you know, I was really struggling with that, but this is what I found that works. And we got to build more community. We got to talk to each other about what's going on. And when people get down and, you know, well, you know, I'm 56, so I don't really know. I don't really want to travel the world. Well, you know what, sis? It ain't nothing but a number. Come on, let's go.
That's what I'm on traveling. You better see it. You saying, look, it was meant for you to come on this podcast because everything you saying, that's why I say it's your word, because everything you saying is confirmation of how I feel. Like, go on, say I'm old, but look, check this out. I'll be 40 in a few years, but I still get ID in a certain place. They think I'm 24. And I'm not saying the reason why I'm getting ID, but they think I'm 24, so never too old. Like I'm telling you, I'm gonna drop that fourth book this year. I ain't old, baby. I'm in my prime. Let's go. I'm gonna continue to do this podcast so I can't do it no more. And I'm gonna continue to inspire people so I can't do it no more.
You know, a lot of times our outward appearance is a reflection of how we're feeling inside. And a lot of people are struggling. You know, a lot of people just are having a hard time. You know, look at the economy and trying to get, you know, feed your family, take care of your bills and everything. Excuse me. And a lot of times, he's close. A lot of times that's, you know, how we appear on the outside is a reflection of the struggle on the inside. Our people been going through such stuff for hundreds of years, but guess what? When you can find the balance in your life and you can say, okay, I'm going through a lot of stuff, I'm under a lot of stress, but you know what? I'm going to still get up and I'm going to take a deep breath. I'm going to enjoy the sunshine. The birds are singing outside. Let me get a cup of tea, a cup of coffee. What do I need to have balance in the morning or in the evening or at my job? You know, like these jobs, like, you know, we could do a whole nother podcast on that. But
I already know.
but are you letting the situation dictate to you, or are you being intentional because you got goals and that's where your mindset is? So the stuff that's going on at work really doesn't matter. So yeah, it makes a difference how we look at things.
I say that like, look, where I'm at. When I stepped outside on my balcony, I was like, even though I'm in Texas, but my mind is in Dubai because I'm traveling like Costa Rica, Dominican Republic. Come on now, Paris, France, let's go.
Right.
I'm riding that camel. Watch.
Right. And you know, people say, oh well, you know, I don't want to travel overseas because of COVID and different things, but that might not be your vision. That might be somebody else's vision. So it's okay if you don't want to do that. But you got to figure out what the vision for you is. It's got to be consistent with who you are, with what you want for your life. So, you know, taking somebody else's goal of going to Dubai and you don't really travel like that, that's not going to be something that's good for you. But if you like, I don't know, I'm trying to think of something, fishing. I know a lot of women that fish. But if you like fishing, maybe you go on that once in a lifetime fishing trip, as part of the vision for your life. And again, it's not about doing what everyone else is doing or feeling like, well, everybody's losing weight, so I guess I should too. Everybody's being a vegetarian or a vegan, I should too. No, you shouldn't. If that's not what works for you and that's not what aligns with your life, no, you should not do it.
You see, me, I don't just follow the trend. I create the trend. Right. I started eating, because before I started back eating meat, it's been like 5 months. Before I started back eating meat, I was vegetarian for like 5 years. It's a lifestyle. So I look at health is wealth. But while we're on health, we just give a shout out to this affiliated marketing company I'm with, MBC, My Daily Choice. They got the belly busters. They got the health sprays. If you're into that health thing, you're trying to really get right, like how Stella got her groove back.
Okay.
I need to holler at you. MBC, My Daily Choice. You can come aboard for free, and we got all that hemp work, everything. But back to the broadcast. How y'all doing? That was a quick person break.
After these paid announcements, right? But yeah, and in my podcasting, I had a lot of self-doubt. Like, I had done all these amazing things, right? But I don't know, it was like having your name out there and being out there. I don't know how I feel about that. And whenever you embark on something new, it's gonna be uncomfortable. You're not gonna really be sure, and guess what? When you go out there and people don't understand what you're doing because they didn't get the assignment, it's not theirs, it's yours.
Exactly.
And you doubt yourself. You're like, I don't know, because like, I thought it was gonna be like this, but it's not really happening that way. So I don't know what that means. Saying all that to say that, it's gonna be scary. Whatever you do, whatever you embark on, it's not. Look, I hope I did not make it sound like it was a piece of cake, because no, not
I already know that. I always say this analogy, like, you can walk on the same, say like you and somebody else. I'm gonna give an example. You and somebody else walk on the same balcony.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all got the same view, but y'all vision different. You might be looking at that dog. You might be looking at that tree. You might be looking at the person over on the phone. So everybody ain't gonna see how you see it. Everybody ain't gonna see your vision. It don't matter how seasoned or how unseasoned you is. It's never too late. Like, but everybody don't see your vision. Like family, friends, associates, they're not gonna see it how you see it. So it's got to keep it pushing.
Let me tell you about an episode I did on my podcast that was really eye-opening to me. So I had an interview. The title of that episode is Entrepreneurs Under 30. And I had a young lady on my show that just kind of blew my mind. I've known her a long time, but she's 27 and been in business for 3 years. And what she told me? She said, as a generation, as a 27, that's millennial, I think, right? Or is it Z? That's generation. So she said, as a generation Zer, she's looking at people like me, a generation Xer, going to a job we hate every day for 30 years, which is hard. She said, being an entrepreneur is hard. Pick your heart. And I was like, dang, that statement was just so like a bomb went off. Like, wow. Like, and when you think about it, okay, changing your life is gonna be hard. Losing weight gonna be hard. Starting a podcast gonna be hard. Starting a business gonna be hard. Pick your heart. Not living your life is hard. Not being fulfilled is hard. Not being happy is hard. It's hard on your whole soul. So pick your heart. And I hope your listeners are really encouraged, because whatever you've been sitting on, holding back on, do it. Like the clothing. Just do it.
Just do it like Nike, baby. You heard?
Yeah, just do it. Like, just do it. And then say, I'm going to do it because I believe this is a thing that I was built to do. And you don't have to, don't try to get your girlfriend and your cousin and your mom and all of them, because they weren't built for what you're going to do. But if you've been sitting on something, you've been pondering, well, should I do it? Should I do it? If it's going to make your life better, if it's going to satisfy you, if it's edifying, nourishing to you, do it. Why would you not? Why would you not? And I did that. I mean, there was a point in my life where I did what adults told me to do. They said, you need this kind of job. Okay, that's what I signed up for in school. Hated it. So it took me 10 years to get my bachelor's degree because people kept telling me what I should do, and I kept listening instead of figuring out, okay, what am I meant to do?
You know what? Your story sounds like E.T. E.T. Eric Thomas, a hip hop preacher. He one of my inspirations. Yes. That's why I really started my life in that. And he always speak on how it took him, I don't know, he say 10 or 12 years to get a 4-year college degree. So that goes to say, listeners and who's viewing in, it's never too old to dream big.
My mama be cracking on me. And she be like, you been in school all your life, haven't you? Yeah. And think about it. I've been in school from kindergarten to 56. Now, I had some breaks in there, but that's a long time because, and a big part of that was not understanding what I was made to do. I just didn't put any time in it, because if an adult tell you something back in our day, I know y'all roll a little different now, but when an adult told you something, it was like law. So, you said I need to go into the healthcare field. Boom. Go in the healthcare field. No, you need to go into computers. Okay. No, you need to do this. Okay. But when I remember when I brought up the fact that I wanted to work with people, everybody was like, oh, you finna be broke. Now you ain't gonna be broke living with us. No working with people. Find out what's the top 10 jobs that's hiring and go do that. And I didn't succeed at none of that. None of it. A lot of wasted time and wasted years, but the lessons learned in those times were just building my capacity for today. So it wasn't wasted time. But I don't think I would be as effective in what I do today if I hadn't had all those experiences, disappointments, letdown, frustrations, and all of that. So, I don't want to mischaracterize and come on here and like, oh, it's all easy. All you got to do is this, that, and other. No, it's hard, but pick your heart. Pick your heart and be happy on the end. You could go after something, fail miserably, and be so happy because you tried. Instead of just sitting back wondering, well, I wonder what would have happened if I had done this, that, or the other. But if you tried and failed, you have the satisfaction of trying. And that's what discourages us. I don't want to go out there and fail. Why not? Failure is a part of success. If you listen to some of these big people, Richard Branson and Bill Gates and Steve Jobs and all of those people, the failures is what made them successful. So we shouldn't be scared to make a mistake or fail or fall flat on our face, because there's going to be a lesson in that. We're going to learn in that, and then it's going to build us in a way that when we do get to the point that we were, get to the space that we were meant to be in, we ready.
That's how I know I'm ready. Like, I just know it's that time. So, Miss Santiago, how can the viewers, the ones that's watching, the ones that's going to watch on replay, the ones that's going to comment on replay, how can they find you? Like, how can they know your story? How can they get to know you? Can they find you at?
Why? Why? Thank you for letting me promote myself. First of all, you can find the Convos with Anita Santiago podcast on Apple, Spotify, Google Podcasts, or whatever your platform is. Convos, CONVOS with Anita Santiago. And check out the podcast. You can also pop over to my website. That's Life Convos, LIFECONVOS.com. And, you know, I keep it popping over there. You can get links to some of my radio work. You can follow me on IG and keep up with what I'm doing. But yeah, I thank your listeners for allowing me to come on and speak. It's been amazing, and I appreciate the invite.
No, I thank you for making time out of your busy schedule out here let them know it ain't too late, baby. It ain't Stella got up. Miss Nita said she got her groove back like Stella.
Right, right.
Y'all know where y'all can find me at. It's the host, you know. Check my Anchor podcast out, Seeking Knowledge Podcast. I'm on LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, Snapchat. I don't really rock with it. Instagram, but like, share, comment. If you want us to talk about anything, just let me know.
Yeah.
Until next time. Anything else you need to say, Miss Santiago?
That's it.
Y'all for viewing in.